You've probably heard it before. Our last email campaign got a 10% click-through rate. Sounds like a win, right? Honestly, the common statistics are that click-through rates between 2% and 5% are normal. So 10% feels like something extraordinary to celebrate, right? But here's a perspective you may not have considered. That 10% that sounds like a win, it also means that 90% of your audience did not click. 90% didn't engage. 90% did not take action. And in many cases, a good chunk of that 90% did not even notice you. And that is feedback. And it's feedback that gets lost when we celebrate 10% metrics as wins. It's 90% of your audience telling you, this isn't relevant. This doesn't feel like it's for me. I don't trust this. Or worse, I didn't even notice it. That's not just a missed opportunity. It's the slow erosion of your visibility, your influence, and your relevance in your audience's mind. Let's put it another painfully true way. It's a slow leak in your pipeline. Those folks who came in at the top of your funnel are walking away before they ever get to the bottom. Or if you're mailing to a list you bought, those folks you thought would want to know about you aren't paying any attention. When your emails are basically ignored by 9 out of 10 people, your pipeline isn't growing, it's stalling. What is happening? What really is happening? Every day, your subscribers' inboxes are under siege. AI tools can now churn out thousands of polished, perfectly fine emails in minutes. And the result is an inbox that's full of sameness. If your emails don't feel instantly relevant and valuable, they disappear into the noise, no matter how much effort you put into them. Let's talk about why people don't click. Because low click rates are a symptom. They're not the root problem. The number one reason that people don't click is because the content in the email doesn't matter to them. There's a mismatch of content to the audience, and this is the big one. If your email talks about what you want to say instead of what they need to hear, it won't land. Maybe the topic is too general. Maybe it's too fluffy and seems like the generic stuff that too many people are creating with whatever AI tool they're into today. Yuck. Maybe it solves a problem they don't have right now, or worse, a problem they'll never have. Maybe your email's using language they don't understand. We see that one a lot, particularly with companies that offer complex solutions. Or maybe your email is speaking to the wrong stage of their buying journey. If your message doesn't speak directly to a real problem your audience faces, it's just background noise, totally ignorable. When your audience doesn't see themselves in your message, they move on. Maybe you send an email about your new service feature, but your audience is still trying to solve a more basic problem. They won't click because they're not ready for what you're offering. And that's just one example of a mismatch. Now, the second reason that people don't click through is because of poor email design. And when I talk about design, I'm not talking about fancy fonts and different colors and lots of images. I'm talking about how you lay out the text in your email. Design matters, but if your email looks like a wall of text, what one person I work with calls a big blob of text in a small font, or your email looks like a sales flyer with lots of images and colors and fonts and columns and everything else, it's just not inviting. It looks generic. And if your email is just one big image, it could well appear as a giant empty box with a red X in the middle and an ominous download pictures click at the top. Secondly, we live on our phones. If your email's not optimized for mobile with a clean layout, easy to read fonts, clear spacing, it's going to be closed before your call to action is even seen. And let's be honest, if your key point is buried halfway down the email, competing with long paragraphs, many readers won't even make it that far. Your design should make it impossible to miss your core message. Think simple, think skimmable, Think short sentences. Maybe bullet points would help. And have your main point right up top. Think about how a busy CEO would read your email while waiting in line for coffee. The third reason that people don't click is that your calls to action, or CTAs, are just ineffective. And what's fun about that, not good fun, is your call to action can fail in two completely opposite ways. They can be too vague. Click here to learn more doesn't tell me why I should. Or they could be too hyped. You won't believe what happens next. Erodes trust and makes you sound like clickbait. The sweet spot, clear, credible, and curiosity driven. Give them a compelling reason to click now, and make sure the next step delivers exactly what you have promised. Here's the danger if you ignore this. Every email you send that doesn't resonate teaches your audience that your emails aren't worth opening. Over time, you become background noise, just another name in their inbox. And here's the part that no one talks about. Once you've been mentally muted, it's 10 times harder to get that attention back. That's why we need to stop thinking of 10% click-through rates as a win and start seeing the 90% non-clickers as our biggest growth opportunity. So what can you do about it? Here's the truth. Better click-through rates aren't just about clever subject lines or flashy buttons. Better click-through rates are not going to happen if you're just sending more emails and more emails and more emails. Better click-through rates come from alignment, from knowing exactly who you're talking to, understanding what they're struggling with, speaking to that struggle with empathy and clarity, and offering a next step that feels like relief, not a pitch. When you start doing that, your emails stop feeling like marketing. They start feeling like help. So here are 3 practical shifts you can start making today. Number 1, laser focus your topics and laser focus them on your audience. Before you write a single word, ask, who is this for? And what is the exact problem they're thinking about right now? What matters to them? If you can't answer in one sentence, your topic is too broad. And remember to write to one person, even if you're delivering that email to thousands. You want the recipient to think the email was written just for them. Number 2, design for the distracted reader. Short paragraphs, plenty of white space, and leave out the flashy design features. Keep it to minimal images, font changes, background colors, and all that. Be straight and to the point with your text and create a clear hierarchy of information so your main point and call to action can be seen in under 5 seconds of scanning. A lot of people say your main point and your call to action should be above the fold. That means no scrolling necessary, right? So how can you keep your emails short and to the point and have that level of clarity so that even a distracted reader trying to put in his coffee order at the local coffee shop will get what you're trying to say and want to make that click that you're suggesting? And finally, playing right into that point, is craft CTAs they actually want to click. Instead of learn more, try see the 3 mistakes to avoid or get the checklist. Make the benefit obvious and immediate. Even better, provide a reason to click, a view of the value they'll receive in the text versus depending on a button. Email marketing isn't about sending more, it's about sending better. Your click-through rate is more than just a metrics. It's a real-time signal of how relevant, clear, and compelling your communication is to the people you most want to reach. When you shift your focus to that 90% who aren't clicking yet, you don't just improve your emails, you protect your long-term influence and keep your audience engaged for years to come. And just as importantly, you protect the investment that you've already made in your list by engaging and working to engage the people who aren't engaged yet. They're not lost. That 90% is just waiting for a message that feels like it was meant for them. If you want concrete steps to put this in action, I've put together a short checklist that walks you through exactly how to increase your email click-through rates, starting with your very next send. You can grab it from the link in the description below.